everyone, and welcome to my fall kitchen. Today I am excited to share some cozy fall recipes with you. These are perfect for families and they're pretty easy and also fairly healthy, but filling. And I know how hard it is to plan meals week after week for your family, and so I hope that these 3 dinner ideas kind of switch it up for you. And if you can go ahead and comment your favorite comfort cozy meal for the fall down in the comment section below, then hopefully we'll have a little bit of list to make meal planning for your family a little bit easier. I will include all of the links down to the recipes below that you can go and look at the blog. All of these are fairly adjustable and kind of can just make them your own. We're first going to start with this amazing Brie and apple stuffed chicken. This is probably going to be my favorite recipe of the season, and I will probably be making this weekly because I am obsessed with Brie and apples combined together, but it was also just so delicious and it actually came together very quickly and my 2-year-old son devoured it. So it's a win across all boards. I will be cooking these chicken breasts in a cast iron skillet, and my family has completely switched over to cast iron for our skillets this year. I threw away all of our non-stick pans and forced us to learn how to cook on our cast iron just because they do last a lifetime. All of our non-stick pans were completely scratched up, and these are just so beautiful to cook on. I am absolutely obsessed. So if you are new to cast iron skillets, I highly recommend going and watching my video on how to cook on them and how to maintain them, because they're really not as difficult as a lot of people have made them out to be. And I hope that it encourages you to give them a try because we absolutely love ours. If you are looking for a dinnerware set that is family friendly, this Dylan dinnerware set by Fobenta, I will include a link down on Amazon, is just what you're looking for. It is heat resistant, scratch resistant. You can put it in the microwave. It is dishwasher safe, and it has this beautiful little lip and gorgeous glaze, but the lip makes it easy for you to push food up against it. And I'm so excited to be using this fall. It is just beautiful with of the fall tablescape. The thing that really makes this chicken stand out is this very simple glaze, and I'm excited to kind of experiment with different glaze combinations in the future. This kind of made me excited to try different things. It's very simple. It's garlic, maple syrup, mustard, and salt and pepper, but this flavor combination gave it kind of like a honey mustard taste, and it really complemented the apple and Brie well. And as you can see, my chicken breasts were fairly thin, and I was able to stuff a little bit of Brie and apple in a few of them, but then really I just kind of set the Brie and the apple pieces in the pan and on top of the chicken and just kind of let them get all ooey gooey melty. The apples sizzle for a little bit, and then you kind of just stick this in the oven to finish cooking the chicken after you put on the glaze, and it just all comes together beautifully. In this recipe too, at the very end, you're supposed to throw it in the oven. I honestly didn't think that I had to, since I did have such thin chicken breasts to start with. They were pretty cooked through, so this was a little dry at the end, but I mean, still delicious. But I definitely think I might skip that step next time unless I'm using a full-size chicken breast, just because it wasn't necessary to kind of finish cooking them all up. But it did put nice flavor on the apples and Brie. So then to pair with this, I made a fall harvest salad, which was fairly easy because we already had fall ingredients in our refrigerator. And so this had some gorgeous red grapes, some chopped up apples, and I ended up using pecans. This super simple salad dressing definitely made this salad stand out. It was a little bit sweet, had a little bit of a tang, and it just made all of the flavors blend together beautifully and made it very delicious. It was just Greek yogurt, maple syrup for that sweetness, some lemon juice, and some salt and pepper, I believe. And I think maybe a little coriander. I don't know. I'll link it down below. But it was absolutely delicious with this salad pairing, and it kind of just enhanced all of the flavors. And it went beautifully with the Brie and apple stuffed chicken. Now for our second recipe, it is just classic chili and cornbread, and it's nothing crazy, nothing fancy. It's just very classic chili and cornbread. We end up using cornbread from a box because it is so simple, and I've tried making it from scratch and honestly never really even noticed a difference. So much easier to just make it from the box. And then the great thing with chili, at least for our household, is it's a meal that comes together very quickly when you need something to just be thrown in a pot. I usually have some chopped up onions and some garlic in the freezer already, and usually even some tomato paste. I was shockingly out of it because it usually seems to last me forever. And then I really just kind of use whatever we have on hand. So I had half of a green bell pepper in the fridge, and I didn't want that to go to waste, so I made sure to throw that in there. And just kind of whatever you think of that can kind of blend with the flavors, I just like to kind of use up. It's just a great way to not waste food in our house. It also is a little bit special because we do get to use our canned diced tomatoes and use up some of that fresh garden produce from the summer. I absolutely love being able to kind of use our own produce in the meals that we make. I mean, that's the whole point, right? But there's just something that's a little bit more special when you get to kind of use your canned items. I'm sure everybody already has their favorite chili recipe, and it's always the one that is, exactly how it should be made. For us, we found this one a few years ago, and I've been making it ever since. It has a little bit of maple syrup in it that tends to kind of cut some of that acidity of the tomatoes, and I don't know, it just gives it a very nice natural flavor a little bit. And then, of course, you cannot have chili and cornbread without also making some honey butter. This was a disaster. When I made this, my butter melted so much faster than I was expecting it to in the microwave. Usually you just want it to be soft. Mine completely melted, but I ended up just throwing it in the fridge, and it solidified enough by the time dinner was ready for me to kind of make it into more of a paste instead of a melted glob. Now, I'm pairing cornbread with our chili, but I'm kind of curious if anybody else had this growing up. We liked to have caramel rolls with our chili, and it wasn't an every time thing, but I definitely feel like it was often enough where I remember it being a thing. And so I'm curious if anybody else pairs caramel rolls with chili, because it was a very superior flavor, but also caramel rolls just might go with anything and everything. So maybe, I don't know. It was just a little nice treat. Now, the last recipe that I have for you are buffalo chicken wraps and candied Brussels sprouts, and both of these recipes were very easy. I started off by heating up my pan and throwing my frozen Brussels sprouts on them, and I had also cooked some plain chicken breasts. I think I just put some salt and pepper on it, very minimal effort here, and then I put it in my food processor and shredded it up, and then mixed this with some Greek yogurt and buffalo sauce, and it just was a creamy, delicious little meat to put in some wraps. And I feel like this would just be the perfect game day, cozy fall, football meal, because it's something that's not a fried food, and it's filling, and it's got that buffalo seasoning to it, and it just is very reminding of football. And then for the candied Brussels sprouts, it was a little bit of a glaze of maple syrup, brown sugar, some lemon juice, olive oil, some seasonings, a little bit of cayenne pepper just for a little bit of kick, and mixing that up. And then you put those on your cooked Brussels sprouts. In hindsight, this was my first time trying this recipe. I think I would like to try it again with quartering my Brussels sprouts. I used them in whole form, and it was almost just too much Brussels sprout to candy ratio. So I think it would have been a little bit better if there was more candy coating on the Brussels sprouts, obviously, but it was fine otherwise. And then to kind of also pair and balance the spicy, we did make a little mock tzatziki of just cucumbers, Greek yogurt, garlic, lemon, olive oil, and salt and just loads of dill, and it was the perfect pairing. Finishing these wraps with a toasted tortilla and some chopped green onions was just perfect. A little bit of extra sauce could also be optional for dipping in, but we definitely loved this meal as well, and we'll be making this again. I hope that these 3 meal ideas inspired you, and hopefully one of them at least will make it to your meal plans for you to try this next month. I hope to see you guys in the next video.